Levels good. Yeah. Uh. Friday. Yeah. Yo, Friday night and we come here tonight. We're Friday night, Friday, y'all. Music show. Y'all know how we do it. Y'all know how we get it down on Friday. Listen, Urban Therapy with Sun 752 with this your daily. It's the Daily Go Get Mism show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, taking all fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We talking about does street credibility matter in music tonight? Street cred. Are you living the lyrics? Now, when I was thinking about this show, I was thinking like, people are probably going to think we're talking about just hip hop because, you know, hip hop music has the most, it's definitely the most lyrical form of music that's out there in the world. And it has known to be that genre of music where, you know, the artists strive for believability. But believability is something that can span across different genres, different artists, different music forms. And it can put us in a certain mindset where we might get, if we're not careful, the influence of the internet, social media, mass media, you know, we really feel like we get to know our artists personally now because of mass media, because of social media, where the artists themselves may post things and interact with their fans and stuff like that. So in that way, it's a good way to be able to connect with your audience. And in some ways, it may give you the wrong impression about who you are and what you portray. And, you know, once that communication breakdown starts and then expectations rise, and they may rise to a level that can't be fulfilled. And that's when we can run into a whole lot of troubles. But that's what we're going to talk about tonight on the Daily Go Get Mism show. That's what we're going to talk about. The street credibility, or should I say believability. You know what? I can change the name of the show inside the show. And I think I might need to do that. Is believability, should believability matter in music? Because I don't know if our artists back in the day had to go through having to keep it real, keep it 100, had to, you know, portray a certain image for their fans beyond whatever they did on stage. I don't think the expectations that our elder artists or our ancestral artists went through, I don't think they went through all of this. You know, they were able to have a life aside from their art form that their fans didn't know anything about. So you didn't really know who the artist was as a person back in the day, unless you actually went out to the shows and saw them in person and interacted with them. Nowadays, we feel like we know our artists. We know who they messing around with, who they sleeping with, what houses they bought, where they live, what planes they take in order to get to shows, whether or not they drive, what they drive. We may know addresses, phone numbers. It's a lot different now. Back in the day, when we had to write fan letters, we ain't know if the artists themselves were even answering those or responding to those letters. We don't know. Now, don't get me wrong. I've never written a fan letter, but I know people who did, and they believed in it. That was their thing. What up, T Carry, right? Morning, noon, and night. Or should I say, come on, Carry, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your sight. And my people's time is in the house. Time is in the house. There's nothing like the OJ's, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Commodores, Ohio Players, Kool and the Gang, the Bloodstones, Larry Graham, Betty Wright, Alexander O'Neal, and the group Switch with the real DeBarge, Bobby and Tommy. Bobby on the vocals, Tommy on the bass. And they're both dead. They're both dead. Bobby died by, well, AIDS complications, to be honest with you. He was a heavy heroin user and he was gay. Well, I guess you could say he was bisexual because he was married to a woman and all of that kind of shit. But so was Freddie Mercury of Queen. Well, Freddie Mercury wasn't married to a woman, but he was living with a woman at the time. Anyway. Come on, Carrie says, there were expectations of keeping a wholesome image during certain decades. That's true. Or a chaotic persona during other decades because record companies sold an image. Yeah, that's true. It says, and she says, I wrote a letter to Ralph Tresvant and I got a response. I held on to it until 2004 when it was destroyed when some pipes burst in my basement. Well, peace to you. I'm sorry that happened. What's that? Malosi Fatu? What's good? How you feeling? Thanks for coming through, y'all. I appreciate y'all mucho. So we're going to talk about believability tonight. Not necessarily street cred, but we can get into that a little bit too. But does it really matter? You know what I mean? Like, you know, you start a lot of young people, a lot of people who are really ingrained and up on social media really believe in this whole believability thing. It's a real thing to them. Like this is, they really believe that like this is the way you have to move. And you know, it's a funny thing because I know that this is a real thing to some people. It may not be me and you. It might not be the people in our age frame or whatever. You know, we just want to hear the music. You know, a lot of people our age ain't even going out to shows and trying to meet no artists or whatever. But there are plenty who still do. There's plenty who still do. So this is it. It's a relevant topic any way you slice it. Time says Sun 752 ain't nothing new under the sun. It's why our grandparents and parents always would whoop our ass when we did wrong. Interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, we in that keep it real age. And if you ain't keeping it real, then, you know, you're going to be exposed. You're going to be revealed. Like, you know, we didn't know about all of this stuff that was going on back in the day. You know, until artists actually came out and said it or intimated it or whatever, you didn't know if certain musical artists worked together behind the scenes or toured together or didn't go get along. Like when I was younger, I didn't know that Luther Vandross and Anita Baker was beefing. You know, and how they would, like, they said Luther would sabotage Anita Baker's show on stage and other people too. You know, shit like that. We didn't know all that. We didn't know all of that. We know now because of interviews and accounts of people who were there, witnessed it. Like Prince and Rick James. We didn't know that they didn't get along and, you know, they had problems with each other. And, you know, Rick James was trying to son Prince back in the day. And, you know, Mr. Rogers wasn't having that shit. Mr. Rogers Nelson wasn't having none of it. We didn't know all of this stuff. They didn't put that kind of stuff in the magazines. Shit like that wasn't fodder. It wasn't well known. It wasn't like, we ain't have cell phones that we could just open and go on a social media or these gossip media websites and all of that. And by the way, I don't like gossip. I don't listen to it. I don't appreciate it. I don't think that it's a good thing, and I never have. I've never liked people like Wendy Williams and anybody else she's given birth to, including her child. Tom says, I believe the artist was telling us what was going on, especially the OJs. We cried together. We used to be, I'm glad you wrote this. Used to be my girl, backstabber, money, 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 family reunion. I mean, do we really believe that they was living that life? Like, did him and his woman actually cry together? I mean, I don't believe none of that shit. I ain't gonna lie. I don't believe none of it. Not one bit. To me, it was just a song. It was just a song. But nowadays, we are literally looking for, like I thought you said, I'm like, the artist didn't even write the song. I mean, the OJs didn't write all of their songs. Gamblin' Huff definitely wrote some of them, a lot of them. So I don't, like Marvin Gaye, artists like Marvin Gaye who wrote their own songs. Did we take their songs to heart? Maybe songs like What's Going On, but he's not talking about his life. Maloshi says street credibility is for the young and confused. We grown. Them knuckleheads ain't inspiring us with the music nowadays. I agree. And Tom says, when my uncles hairdos, milk crates. Wait. You said my uncles had. Wait a minute. When my uncles had milk crates full of albums and need award, You Can Ring My Bell, and there was nothing like Rick James with Tina Marie. Facts. Maloshi says, how about the Sacred Soul? Bring back the analog sound. Ooh, you talking. Come on, Carrie said. We cried together. Tom says, Sunset Vadu, the songs had meaning back then, and whoever wrote it, the artist, whoever wrote for the artist back then was singing like they were going through it. Maybe not. Well, I'm glad we on this. And we can debate about it. We can talk about it, be about it, get involved. Because a lot of those artists, like a lot of those male artists back in the day was woman beaters. Domestic violence was on the menu. You know what I mean? Like, may he rest in peace, but artists like Bill Withers was talking about, a lovely day. Meanwhile, he was... It's an actual fact. You know what I mean? A lot of them artists. Look at David Ruffin. Drug addict, woman beater. So them cats was singing about love. Yeah, but they wasn't exactly the loving type. Well, depending on how you judge somebody's expression of love. I don't think you expect to get gripped up and smacked up after being sung to so sweet. Oh, so sweet. He was singing to me. What up, Tori? Tori 2200 is all up in the house. What's going on, ma? How you feeling? He was singing to me. And he was also punching on you. Wow! Oh, he didn't mean it. Shit. Them black eyes have meaning. Bloody noses have meaning. Busted lips have meaning. Broken arms. Oh shit. Tory 2200 said James Brown beating Tammy Terrell. Well, I don't think that James Brown did a very good job as portraying himself as a lover. He said it's a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing if it wasn't for a girl. But he also said, Papa don't take no mess. Evidently, he wasn't just talking to the kids. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud. So James kind of lets you know that he was a little aggressive. Did we take it seriously? He said, Papa don't take no mess. And I guess Papa really didn't take no mess. But Papa might have been a little messy. Now, it's funny thing about James Brown because, you know, he didn't allow his band members to take drugs or drink alcohol or none of that shit. They had to be disciplined. They had to be right. They had to be on point. Meanwhile, he like, hey, jam it on the one. I need you to do it on the one. On the one. I got this feeling. Cold sweat, baby. Rest in peace, James Brown. Don't let the hair conk fool you. He'll reach out and touch you. Bad temper, drug fueled. Gary says she was only 17 at the time. Lucky they didn't stay together a long time. Shit. The damage was done. She died young as shit. Philly chick. Big payback. Right? Yo, that's my song too. I'm mad. Revenge. Oh man. Godfather soul. Tom says everybody on Motown was on that white horse. And the funny thing about it is Barry Gordy knew. The thing is, Barry Gordy made sure that they was disciplined on the road. You get to acting stupid, you get off Motown, you already wasn't getting paid. You ain't getting paid shit. Not from the records you wasn't, because you ain't had no points on your records. You didn't write nothing. You didn't play no instruments. You didn't do nothing but sing. Sing the lyrics that were written for you from somebody else. So your royalties wasn't about shit. You better go on the road and get that money. But as soon as you start acting stupid on the road, you will get Flo Ballarded. You get Flo Ballarded. Oh, you want to make noise? You want to bitch? You want to complain? All right. It's Diana Ross and the Supremes now. You got something to say about that, Mary? No. Baby love, my baby love. Does believability matter? Does believability matter? Tom says we didn't even get to George Clinton yet. Oh man, them drugs he was using acid. You ain't used to black people talking about dropping acid. That's why it was funkadelic. That was like psychedelic on some crazy shit. Yeah, she was with David Ruffin too. He whooped her ass too. It was like they was ganging up on her. And one soften her up and the other one, you know what I mean, take her down. One getting her high and the other one getting low. She was a cutie. Jerry says a lot of producers produce the drugs. We don't know that. We don't know that. Malosi says, yeah, these songs can be soundtracks. Something great or risky. Interesting. Make sure y'all hit the like button, y'all. I don't know what them numbers on the screen. Or I don't, that shit went all the way down to 0, and I see y'all here. I don't know what the fuck to do. Listen. You know what I mean? Don't get distracted by that like I do. Just go ahead and, you know what I mean? Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. You know what I mean? Let's get this thing popping. We are talking about the street cred matter in music. Do it. Hold on.
You have a call from
Troy.
And as they say in Hollywood, hey, yo.
Yo.
How you feeling, my dude? You good?
Listen, man, I'm here. I'm blessed. As long as I'm up able to make an oxygen sandwich with some mayonnaise, tomatoes, and pickles and cheese. Shit, bro.
I'm gonna have to get put on to that. I'm gonna have to get put on to that. I don't know nothing about no oxygen sandwich, but I'm gonna learn.
You get one every morning.
Do I?
When you wake up, you take that oxygen.
Oh.
A cup of oxygen Java with just some sugar and cream.
My man Jay Sloan is in the house. What's good? What's good, my dude? Good to see y'all.
My music brother from another mother, boy.
My mellow. My mellow, my man.
Get on the mic and show what you can.
Exactly.
Come on, Carrie. Come on, Carrie.
So tonight we're talking about the street cred, aka believability matter in music.
You forgot one person that used to beat up on women, man, and make some good music. You ready for him?
Yeah.
You'll never find
Blah.
like mine. Someone who beat your ass like I do. Lou Ross used to.
Yeah. I'm telling you, all them soul singers was on some shit.
The fucked up part about that song, every time I hear Lou Ross, right? Yeah, Tom. Lou Ross used to whoop ass. His song sung. If you seen his TV one of those songs, they told you that.
Yeah.
Lou Ross, the fucked up part about You'll Never Find is the fucked up part when he said, I'm not bragging on myself, baby. The whole song you bragging, you bastard. When you told her You'll Never Find, you was bragging. Motherfucker.
So what are your initial thoughts? Does believability in music matter? Do you expect your artist to live the lyrics that they sing it?
You let me put it to you like this. You expect it because it's what they're singing, but it's not required. Because I'm gonna give you a prime example, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you hear artists sing about, look at Luther. Luther sung all these love songs, and people say that he was gay. It's not a believable song because he's singing to a man now.
I think it's very believable. He just wasn't singing to a woman.
It's believable about love, but when you sit back and you listen to it, and you say, well, he was gay, so who was he singing to?
Did he say woman did he say woman on the songs?
No, you didn't. You right.
Hey.
That's my fault, son. See, that's exactly why you here for me, man.
Listen, I mean, he said
let's
he said he said my boop baby, but he ain't say my look lady.
All right, well.
Now he on some songs he did say girl.
Yeah.
On some songs, but not all of them.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, well, what about R. Kelly when he said, seems like you ready?
I think that
you can't say shit to that kid.
Listen, I think that R. Kelly lived his lyrics way more than we might have been comfortable for. But you know, in these days of social media, mass media, we really feel like we have access to these artists, and we do. You know, a lot of artists actually have control of their social media accounts, and they interact with their audience, with their fans. Mm-hmm. So that was unheard of when we were younger. You know what I mean? We didn't have no social media. We didn't have phone numbers, addresses, and insider information. Word Up, Right On. What were those other magazines back in the day? They didn't write any salacious, real, you know.
The Source.
No. The Source started coming out with actual, like really like actual beef stories and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about before the Source. The Source actually gave birth to, you know, giving us a window into rap artists' lives. But I'm talking about, you know, back in the days with where they had to pin up pictures and shit. You know what I mean? So I'm talking about Right On, and what was the other one? It was Right On. What was the other magazine?
Right. Was it Fresh?
Not Fresh. Before they started really catering to the hip hop scene.
Right On.
Anyway.
You had me ready to say Black Tail.
Yeah. Well, that definitely didn't. They ain't tell no lies in Black Tail. I ain't never seen no lies in Black Tail. But as far as you know, back in the day, we didn't have artists were not accessible to us. We would go to their shows and maybe have backstage passes, and maybe some people went to the hotels, but you had to go out to access them. Now you can sit right in the privacy of your own home and go on your phone and feel like you're talking to that artist, or really find out about.
We wouldn't have knew nothing about Tammy Terrell and James Brown and even David Ruffin if it wasn't for the song series on TV One, or you know, the motherfucking Temptation movie, or stuff for that stuff. Even James Brown. Yeah, that story just said Word Up magazine. Yeah,
I wasn't talking about that.
Okay, but even with
but that was definitely one of them.
The James Brown movie. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it didn't even mention Tammy Terrell in that movie.
Well, those movies they're bad biopics. All of them are the same. It's all bullshit. You know what I mean? It just shows you they hard upbringing, and then they triumph era, and then you know it don't cover their lives. You know, all of those movies.
The most realistic movie that came out that showed the realness of was What's Love Got to Do with It?
More like Ray.
And Ray, yeah, both of them alone showed the realness of it. You know what I mean?
Nah, because I don't really think What's Love Got to Do with It did a good job, because they embellished so bad, you know, on Ike. It just, you know what I mean? Like people running around here hating Ike Turner, and it wasn't, you know, even Tina Turner said, like, yo, it wasn't like that. You know what I mean? The rape scene was wrong, and you know what I mean, that shit killed that man. I mean, it did. So I'm not fucking with What's Love Got to Do with It. No movies, because you can't get the truth in a movie, but you can get the truth from people who were there. You can get the truth from interviews. You can get the truth from somebody who has a whole website or page and on Spotify or YouTube Music or wherever, where they're actually, there to, tell their story, or they wrote a book, or, you know what I mean, that whether a paperback or an audio book where they're telling their stories. We didn't have this back in the day. So we look for the inside scoop of our artists nowadays, and we're being conditioned to do so. So no, there is no anonymity with our artists these days. And what I'm trying to ask is if we have come to expect this and reject anything less.
Well,
Now,
I gotta reassess my answer. I don't expect people's songs to be remnants of their life unless they write their own music. Because if they write their own music, then they're writing about what they're going through, or they're writing about the realness of their life.
mm,
Now if somebody else writes a song and they take that song, and that song is relevant to what they're going through, then that's different.
mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not trying to get off R&B, but when you talk about people who write shit that's relevant to them, like Taylor Swift, when she writes music about the relationship she's going through. You know what I mean? The good, the bad, and the ugly. Or, I'm trying to see, like, who else, like, like R&B wise, like who wrote songs relevant to their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to pick that because a lot of people, you can't pick Brian McKnight because you've seen the shit that he's just done. He used to be an abusive person too. So his songs, all that Back at One and, Still in Love with You and all that shit, I don't see the relevance in the song if you're an abusive man.
Okay. Now, why?
Because at the end of the day, you cannot sit up here and say how much you love your queen, or you can't sit back and say because when eagles forget how to fly, and it's 20 below in July, and roses are red and violets are blue, I'm still in love with you. You can't speak that out loudly and then be an abusive man to your woman or your wife.
So why can't it?
I don't think that it's because regardless of what you're saying, is not a. That song is a reflection of how you feel about your woman. And if you wrote that song, that's a reflection of how you feel.
Why can't it just be a song?
No, it can't just be a song because you wrote. It's just like, hold up. It's like, I'm not getting off the Brian McKnight song, but just like I'll Be Sure. I'll Be Sure wrote Forever My Lady. And a lot of people don't know he wrote that. He wrote that for Kim Porter when she was pregnant with her son. The one that Diddy takes care of.
Okay.
So at that time, it was a reflection of how he felt about her. And this, that, and other. Now, the situation between them, I don't know why they broke up over that situation.
Hold on a second. Kim is calling. Right. Hold on.
You have a call from.
All right, go ahead, Troy. Turn your volume down, Kim. I heard Troy in the background, and he was finished talking for like 5 seconds.
But the whole thing about it is that, some songs, when you listen to certain music, you would like to think that those songs is a reflection of who the individual is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm starting to think, like, since we've been talking, I'm starting to think of, if you're not writing, your feelings come through the writing of the songs. And if you're not writing the music for yourself, or you're not picking the music based on how you're feeling, or if that song is about what you're going through, then I don't think that I should sit back and say, well, it's a reflection of how you feel.
Well, my question is, why should we take the artist's song to reflect who the artist is or what they're going through? Why should we do that at all? Like, when we go see a movie, we can't, we know that they're actors. We can't expect them to only take roles that portray their actual lives. They would never get any work. So why can't a singer just write a song that they know will be a hit and leave it at that?
I mean, they could.
I mean, why?
But
the question is, our expectations. Why do we expect our artists to mean the words that they wrote in a song? Why can't it just be a song that you can mean? You know, why can't it just be a song that generally relates to a bunch of people and you do with it what you need with it? Forget about what the artist is doing in their lives. This song is for you. If it means something to you, why can't you just keep that? And why are we putting it in the artist? I mean, putting it on the artist just because they wrote it or they sang it.
Well, like I said, my thoughts is this: is that if I'm putting it on the artist because some artists they portray themselves as that individual until you see something different with them. Just like you just said, back in the day, you didn't know much. There was no circulation on the internet ways that you can find out about your artist. But these days, there's so much stuff on the internet and so much stuff on TMZ and all this other shit that goes around that you know a lot about your artists. Back in the day, you knew nothing about, you wouldn't have known nothing about Lou Ross if you didn't see the other songs. Or you wouldn't have known nothing about, situations like with James Brown being abusive or David Ruffin being abusive. If you didn't see certain things, if things didn't pop up, you wouldn't have known nothing about Brian McKnight if you didn't get the information that Brian McKnight was abusive to his wife or was neglecting his kids.
Okay, that's cool, but why are we connecting what he does in his home life or personal life to what he sings about?
Because the song is not that we're connecting it. I think that when you sing a song, when you sing a song, I feel that when you singing a song, like even when we sing a song, let's say you go to karaoke and your wife or your girlfriend is, or the husband and the wife, or the wife is singing karaoke. Nine times out of 10, the song she's singing, if she's singing a love song, is dedicated to her mate, or he's singing to his mate. You know
okay.
What I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
No, go ahead.
So what I'm saying is that 9 times out of 10, you would think or you would hope that when they singing songs, I'm talking about ballads or love songs. I'm not talking no fast songs or something of any other magnitude. I'm talking about songs that's touching, that can touch your heart. You would think that they got that it's coming from a place of where they're at in their life.
Well, that's why I'm asking, like, why? Why are we putting it on the artist for that to be in their lives instead of taking the lyrics for what it means to us and just keeping it for ourselves and our lives?
Because we expect that from the artist.
Why? That's what I'm asking. Why? Why
do we expect it from them? Because they're singing the songs and the relevancy that they're singing should be coming. If they're singing it, the relevancy coming from them and the words that's coming out their mouth, we're thinking that that's how they're feeling.
Do you think it's realistic for us?
The song.
Do you think it's realistic for us to expect that? Like if
I think on some occasions, yeah, I think that is realistic for us to expect that.
Really?
When Teddy Pendergrass sit back and say, "You're my greatest and my latest, my greatest inspiration," I believe that. But I also believe when he say, "I don't love you anymore," I believe that.
Why? Why do you believe that?
I believe that because.
And why should you? Why should you believe it?
Why should I believe it? Because I'm believing it because I can, the way that he's singing it and the way that he's coming off with it, I can picture him feeling that way about a part of his life. Just like, I mean, when you hear Mary sing or you hear certain songs that a person sings, it's coming from a place of relevancy or of how they feel. You know, I don't think that they're just singing a song just to sing it because it's going to sound good. I think they're singing it because a part of that song is how their life is living or how it was. You know, I just don't think, and for us being a listener, it gravitates to us. Like when you hear Mary say "No More Drama" and you hear that song, I mean, shit, I heard "No More Drama." I wanted to fuck up Casey, JoJo, and all of Jodeci because it was just that deep. And the relevancy to that song of the shit that she was going through, the addiction and the abusiveness in the relationship she went through with KC and all the shit she was going through, it made it feel like you felt like you can touch it because you at some point in time you felt like you went through some shit.
But that's my point though. I can understand what it means to me. But I just don't expect the artist to really have felt that. I mean, that's not their job. Their job is to write songs that you can feel, not songs that they feel.
But see, and that's the difference between yesterday's music and today's music.
I don't think there is because they wasn't living those lyrics back then.
Before we get further in this, always remember this is my opinion.
Okay.
Now my opinion is that the way I feel is that some artists, not all artists, some artists make songs that's relevant to their lives. And I think that when they sing a song, they're singing about parts of what they're going through in their life, or they're picking songs of what they're going through in their life. Yes, they're singing, like Mia said, she says that they're singing is their job. Yes, singing is their job. Music is their job. But just artists pick out music that's relevant to what they're going through. They're not just going to sit up here and sing a song. You're not going to sing a song about being a whore if you're not a whore.
Troy.
You're not going to sing a song.
Troy, I just want to put a little bug in your ear, and then I want to hear from Kim. We did comedy for years, right?
Yes.
I told many jokes. Like I sold drugs, like my mom was on drugs, like I was in that life. I sold it well. None of that shit was true. Not one fucking word.
That's comedy.
It's my job to sell it. No, there's not. I'm trying to listen. Just listen for a second. Just listen for a second. Just hold on. Just listen for a second. I sold it so well that if you remember, our fellow comedians thought that I was in that life. To this day, they think that that's a past life for me. Because I sold it. Because that's what I'm supposed to do. An actor takes roles and does the role so well that you feel like he or she is actually that character. I don't think that that's any different from what singers do. Their job is not to live their lyrics. Their material would be so limited if they wrote about their actual experiences only.
But that's exactly why I said that some artists write or pick songs that's relevant to what they're going through. I didn't say all artists.
Okay. Well, no,
and it don't have to be every song.
Okay. Well,
that artists write, a certain song that artists pick is relevant to what they're going through. What makes it sound more realistic to what other people can gravitate to.
Okay, that's fine. But what we're asking is, does street cred or believability, should street cred or believability matter in music? And my answer is no. The fuck? Like your life is your life. What you've been through is what you've been through. Fine, if you write some songs or whatever that portray a portion of that. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never heard a song that related to my life. They ain't a song long enough to do that. Have I experienced some things I've heard in the song? Sure. I've loved before and I've been loved before. But as far as like, I be hearing people say like this song is like my life story. I'm like, motherfucker, you like 30. I don't think the song is 4 minutes long. Fuck is you talking about? So we can often get caught up in the artistry and expect subliminally or sometimes outright for that artist to be what they wrote or what they sang. And that might have been one of the reasons that one of Milli Vanilli ain't here no more. We expected them to have actually sang the song. But other people have lip synced on stage and it wasn't a problem, but them motherfuckers, they caught all the heat for it. Kim?
Yeah.
So what's your take on this whole thing?
What's up, everybody? Hey, Chad. Hey, family. Hey, Troy. Hey, son.
Hold on.
Well, for me, I don't think authenticity, I don't think it requires a literal lived experience. I do believe it requires an emotional truth, but not a factual truth. So I do believe the artist should at least feel some kind of emotion in what they're putting out, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be part of their life. So, for example, we all know Tupac was not a thug. He did not grow up a thug. This nigga went to Juilliard and he started his career as a hype man. I'm just saying. All that shit he was thinking about when he was with Death Row, that wasn't his life in the beginning. So, and even when we speak to artists from an earlier time, I always speak about Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit. Well, the reality about that is that was not her song. She did not write that song. That song was written by this, I can't remember. My mother would die if she knew I could not remember this. Well, listen to what I'm saying. She would be angry that I can't remember this man's name. Miracle. I think it's Miracle. The song was written by a white Jewish man. It wasn't written by Billie Holiday.
Mm-hmm. She was too high to write.
Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
But he experienced, because the song has ties to Indiana. So,
okay.
He saw lynchings take place. And that's where the song comes from. It wasn't even called Strange Fruit at first. It was called Bitter Fruit. And his wife used to sing it around the streets of Marion, Indiana. And then he crossed paths with Billie Holiday, and what happened. This man didn't live that experience. However, he witnessed something that evoked this feeling in him to create these words. So even artists from an earlier time, it's not necessarily that they lived that experience, but he had an emotional connection to the lyrics he put out because he felt some kind of way about what he saw. I don't think it's a requirement, although we know there are some artists, some of their songs, not all of their songs, but we know some of their songs are connected to how they live, or a period in their life. But to think that it has to be like that, no. I don't think anyone completely writes from full experience. I don't think actors act from full experience. I don't think all authors write from full experience. I mean, seriously, do you think Stephen King had a clown who lived in a damn sewer named Pennywise? No. Maybe as a kid he dreamed that or something, but It's not real. So I wouldn't expect the same from artists, music artists.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I want them to sing the best they can sing about something that's emotional to them. But I wouldn't want them. God, can you imagine if they were all telling the truth? Let's just take rappers. If they were all telling the truth, half of them would be in prison.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like their 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 material would be so limited. You know what I mean? Like an artist that's going through depression would have nothing but suicide. You know, the world is a terrible place song. So you know what I'm saying? You know.
Hey, what's that guy's name? Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean came out with that song, and every woman fell in love with it. Thought he would sing to them before they found out this nigga gay.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Shout out to what's his name? What's the little Hispanic kid? Martin something Martin.
Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin. La Vida Loca. No, not you, baby. Not you.
The same thing Kim just said. She just broke it down in other terms. It's the same thing I said. I said all artists don't see. Some artists pick songs that's relevant to what they're going through, and there's also artists that might either pick a song or write songs about things they're going through. That's why
I don't think they all do that. I think all of them may have one or two songs that's relevant to their life, but not all of their songs.
The word, I think what y'all not hearing is the word is some artists. I'm not saying all artists do that. I'm saying some artists.
I'm saying all.
But are you hearing the word expectation? Why do we expect them?
Well, we're not. We expect them. We don't expect them to be singing songs that are that's supposed to be. They're singing songs that's relevant to their life, but we would assume that is. It's not an expectation.
I don't assume that at all.
No, Troy. You said.
When I heard the whole My Life CD, my assumption and me thinking of what she was saying, and when I seen the breakdown of every song, when I looked at the documentary of My Life on Prime, Amazon Prime, that was her and her feelings. She might didn't write the song, but the songs, she sat down with the person and helped write the song, or when she heard the song, it was relevant to what she was going through.
But see,
some of it was.
But see, here's the thing.
I don't think it was her life as a whole. I do believe she put out some emotions from how she felt to, first of all, give her the power behind her tenure to sing the way she sang. Of course, when it's deep within and you feel it in your soul, of course it comes out like that. So I do believe that helped her range. Of course, it helped her sell the song. It helped her sell the lyrics. It helped her sell the video. However, she may have had emotional connection to some parts of it, but I don't think the whole thing is her life story. Like I said, I do believe artists pick certain pieces and then they sing about it. But I don't think it's a total thing.
Well,
they all do it. I believe there are pieces to it that might be real. One or two songs, a part of a song, but not their whole album at any time. Not their catalog, not their anything. Because again, if that's all they focus on, if all Mary stayed in was her bitter life at the time, that's the only music we would have from her. And it would come to an end because her life fluctuated. It changed. It went up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And of course, after a while, who the hell wants to keep hearing from somebody sad and heartbroken all the time? We would not.
Well, the thing that you also have to consider her age at the time. You know, Mary was born in 71, so the My Life album dropped in 93. So Mary was literally, 22 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the things, the emotions that you're gonna feel at that time, that hormonal energy that's going on, is going to govern that you write. Like, do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember that artist? He passed away. Apache, the one who wrote the one who sung "I Want a Gangsta Bitch."
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you ever listen to that album, that whole album was ass. It was like totally garbage. He talked about he talked about suicide most of the fucking album. Come to find out, it's because he was smoking dust and all of that shit. He was heavily on drugs when and freestyled the album. You understand what I mean? So he wasn't like in his right mind when he wrote the shit. It was just he was going with what his mind was thinking at the time, and he had to get a product out. But we have to also remember that this is artistry. It's artistry. Like they are musical artists, and we're not using the word artist to keep from saying man or woman. We're talking about artistry because it paints a picture. It gives you an image. It's supposed to portray something to you, to emote something from emote feelings from you. It's for you. It's not for them. It's for you.
You're right. You're right. Because we blur the entertainment lines. We expect biography. We, the audience. And it really says more about us than the artist. Because look at us. We know Ice Cube grew up in a middle class family. He was not a gangster.
He was not a gangster. Went to college and everything.
Yeah. That's all he talked about. But I didn't expect him to be.
But a lot of people did. And because, see, hip hop started a lot of this, like with the gangster, what they used to call reality rap and all of that. We started to expect rappers to be who they were talking about, because one of the reasons was because rappers were accessible to us. Because of many of them coming out of New York. And if you went to New York, you could see them. If you lived in New York, you knew them. You would see them walking around. You know what I mean? So they can talk about driving around in Benzes and Beamers and all that kind of stuff, but you might see them on the train. You might see them right around the way, chilling, smoking weed or drinking 40 on a street corner. You know what I'm saying? So as we started to become more, as those artists started to become more of the people that we knew, instead of these characters that we considered to have had overnight success and were so superstars, we started to see how superstars actually lived and how they were developed. And then even if you weren't from the East Coast or the West Coast or wherever was popping at the time, when social media and mass media really started to ramp up, to whereas now you're really getting closer access to these artists. Now they're actually talking back to you. Now they're making money from that. And we have to remember, they're making money from that. So like these celebrity romances and all of that kind of shit, I don't believe none of that shit, because if me and my woman get together, the only way we gonna make money is if we work. But a Jada Pinkett and a Will Smith and a 50 Cent and a Vivica A. Fox, and they make money just from being together. People buy paraphernalia. They want to know shit. They get money for interviews, books, and all of that kind of shit. They're selling, and sometimes we forget that their job is to sell. So they might sell us a song, and they also sell us an image. But the question of this show is whether we're getting to the point where we expect certain things. We expect an image from them to be lived out and actualized. And if they don't do it, then now we are let down to the point where we may not patronize or follow that artist anymore.
I think that's true. I think hip hop rap, maybe a little R&B. I think those are only genres where this is a big deal. You know, either you're real but not too real. Either you're tough, but you got to be marketable. You can tell the truth, but don't incriminate yourself. And we have this expectation. We want them to live out this life and put it on the screen in front of us. But somewhere in there, and I don't mean me personally, but I say we as people, public, we forget they're still people too. And that some of this fake life can be very damaging to them as people. Because after they take all this off, after they remove all the artistry, after they remove the fake life, they have to go home and sit inside that and live in that. And if they're a parent, now they have children to deal with. And if they're a spouse and their spouse doesn't live their life, now they have to come home and have a conversation with their spouse. And if they still have living parents, now their parents are questioning, why did you tell that story? You're making me look bad to my church people. You're making me look bad to the parishioners. You're making me look bad to my neighbors. You're making my grandmother didn't treat you like that. Your father didn't treat you like that. It's a whole thing there. But like I said, whatever last week before, I cannot remember the young lady's name. She was always in the media for something ridiculous. She had a baby, and it just seemed like she was weird with this baby. She was in a toxic relationship with this blue guy, and it all crashed down on her. Somebody filmed her just crying her eyes out, just begging, please, I wish I was never famous. And that was real from her. If anything we've ever seen, that was real from her. She wanted to remove herself from this space because of this pretend life that she didn't fit in. She was more real in her life than the pretend side. And so every hurt she felt was her for real.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw people in the comments saying different things, and I was like, shut up. And there were some people who were like, that wasn't for her because she didn't know how to play the game.
Mm.
But those who know how to play the game, like Beyonce, remember they came out with the song Cheating on God, lady, single lady, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
To tell you going to do all this different stuff. But
Yeah.
she's married at home. She's going home to her husband and her kids. She's not a single nothing.
Did she even really pat her weave? Did she pat her weave? Did she?
I'm just saying.
Did she pat her weave?
That's where I am with that. I do believe, again, there are
tick
some
fighting. Did she tick
things
fight?
that are real, but a lot of stuff is just make believe. They're selling music. They're selling. That's their job. I agree 100%. That's their job. They have a job. At the end of the day, it is their job because it's what pays their career because it pays their bills. Their goal is to make money to finance their lives, no matter what it is. That's what it is. That is a part of it. That's why you don't always see everybody in the front. Like, did anybody ever question, did we really believe Ozzy Osbourne worshiped the devil? Like, seriously, rock and roll artists have lied forever.
When he was on drugs, he might have.
No. When I started watching their show, I was like, what? Then they start talking and being in interviews and stuff, and it's like, oh my God. None of that was true. It's a whole different person.
I mean, he grew up.
No. He was marketable like that.
Well, he definitely sold it back in the 70s because listen, passing that cup around, with the spit in it and drinking it. I don't know if all that shit was true, but there were a lot of if you survive drug use, more than likely the stories that you tell or that you have to tell are going to be outlandish. They're going to be on some different shit. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of the stuff may have actually happened, or you may have been in a certain mind state at the time.
They were the haze. They were in the haze.
I mean, it's real shit.
They hadn't come down yet.
Yeah. So
It seemed real to them.
Well, if you sit back and that's why I said some artists write songs that's relevant to shit they going through. Like, let's see somebody put up there, Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On." That whole album was a dedication to what he was going through at the time.
I don't think it was just him. I think, like, what's going on, he said the words. Some songs like that speak to a time. Yes, I believe those are true. When it's speaking to a time,
when you sit back and you see what you're saying, and I look at a documentary,
I don't think it's just their personal thing. I think you're focused on their personal songs.
No,
versus
if I'm looking at a documentary, if I'm looking at a documentary of what the person is saying out their mouth, this is not me speaking on saying anything. I'm looking at the documentary of what he's saying. That what's going on was part of the loss of, because a lot of shit happened after Tammy Terrell died. That shit devastated them. Also, his brother was in Vietnam. So when he spoke on that right there, it was a tumultuous time in his life. So that's why what's going on was so relevant. Troubled Man was so relevant, and all that shit that he wrote at that time on that album was a lot of pain coming out of his music at the time.
But I don't think that was just him personally. I just think that had to do with what we were going through as a community. Like, even the lyrics of some of those songs, they speak to us as a whole, not just his personal lived experience.
That's true.
I do believe that happened. I do believe a lot of artists at that time, specifically, were singing songs about the Black experience because it was rough and it was hard. And nobody was listening to us. Nobody was hearing what we were talking about. We were muted, so they wanted to be the voice.
Okay.
So, yes, I do believe that was true. But I don't believe every song was a personal anthem to what they dealt with in their lives.
Here's the thing. Whether they are writing from personal experience or not is not as important for this conversation as what we are expecting from them. The question of this show is, does or should street cred or believability matter in music? So whether they were really going through whatever they wrote or whatever, or feeling whatever they wrote, that's neither here nor there. Are we, the fans, the listeners, the buyers of the music, are we expecting those artists to live out in real life what they are writing in their songs? That's what we're asking. We're not asking. I'm not concerned about whether they actually felt what they wrote, because there may be little parts of each song that means something to them. But am I expecting to be able to know that artist just because they put out some songs? Can I say, like, all right, yeah, I know Stevie Wonder is blind, but you know what else I know about him? I know that he thinks about outer space a lot, and I know his child's first name, his first baby's name. Her name is Aisha, and that means love, and that means, like, am I expecting, like, if I ever met Stevie Wonder, am I expecting him to always, be like a real follower of Martin Luther King and you know what I'm saying? Like, am I assuming that I know this person just because they put out an album or some songs?
I think the only time that matters is if it's like, because I don't have an expectation from the artist in that way. However, if Taylor Swift, Lily White Ass, starts singing about being in the hood, and saying shit like, yeah, I was over Keisha's house and da-da-da-da-da, I'm going to have a problem because, bitch, no, you weren't. So that's where it would become a problem. If Justin Timberlake started singing about life in the ghetto, that I would have an issue with that. That's where now we have a problem. Now, no, shut up. No, you did none of that. Shut the fuck up. No. But
why? It's just a song.
No. There's no emotional attachment to that.
Is artistic.
No. It's not authentic. That's the other side of it. There has to be a level of authenticity to it, and it's not authentic. That's why we have Vanilla Ice come out, that dumbass song that landed. I mean, it did what it did, but he couldn't take it any further after that because it wasn't authentic.
Wait.
To a world he didn't belong in.
I don't know, Kim.
Mention drugs?
I didn't say it mentioned drugs.
So let me make sure I got this straight. So these white artists who not from the hood or whatever can't sing songs from the hood?
I don't think they should. I wouldn't feel good about that. I don't think it would be authentic. I don't think it would be relatable to nothing. I don't think there's any real emotional involvement in it. Because remember, that's something I said. It doesn't have to have a lived experience, but it should have some emotional truth. And they wouldn't have any emotional truth involved in it if they start singing about something that's not authentic, that's not real, that they can't relate to, that they have no attachment to.
So
they can't belt out that kind of lived experience that has an emotional attachment because they have nothing to attach to. So no, I would look at it sideways. I would. It wouldn't be real.
Okay.
Nobody would take it serious. They would look at it and question it. They wouldn't have an audience because the audience is what it is. The audience makes a difference. They wouldn't have an audience because everybody would look and
So believability and street cred do matter.
You have to have an emotional truth to it.
Why?
Yeah, it's not even going to come out. There's no authenticity to it if you don't. It has to have some emotional.
Why can't it just be a good song?
How many good songs have you heard from people who haven't had any kind of authenticity to the story or any emotional truth to the story?
Hundreds of times.
Give me an example.
Olivia Newton-John. Let's get physical. I saw the video. She ain't fitting that shit. First time I ever saw her was in Greece. Culture Club.
I'm trying to understand what you said about Olivia Newton-John.
You don't understand that?
Yeah, what am I missing?
Okay, in the video, in the video, you know, it was a bunch of like girls working out and all of that shit, like in the gym. But in the song itself, when she says get physical, you know, we think that she's talking about fucking.
That's what she was talking about in the video too.
No, she wasn't.
It was talking about working out.
It was totally about working out in the video.
I believe that was just a metaphor for what she meant.
Oh yeah, with the tights on and shit, and they in there doing aerobics and shit. The only thing was missing was Richard was Richard Simmons. That's the only thing that was missing. So, like I said, I mean, I had plenty of examples, but you know, if it's a good song, it's a good song. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I loved the song at the time, whether I saw the video or not. But the video didn't portray what she was talking about in the song, and even with the song, I never looked at. Maybe because the first time I ever knew or heard about Olivia Newton-John was on the movie Grease, and I saw Grease about 10 times in the summer of '78. maybe that's why I never looked at her like a sexual type of, like a sex symbol at all. I couldn't do that because, she was Sandra D. She was Sandy in Grease to me. You know what I mean? Sandy, baby, I'm in misery. Made a start, now we're apart. There's nothing left for me. So, like the believability part is not as important for me. I understand how people would be turned off from the standpoint of being a culture vulture. I get that. But am I going to get to the point where I'm going to stop supporting an artist because their image is not fitting the songs that they wrote, even if it's a good song? Now, if it's a shitty song, I'm like, what the fuck is you doing? You know what I mean? That's a good reason to stop following. Like, they don't make good music no more. I don't owe you my support. I bought the album. Holla. When you start making some good shit again, I'll come back. But to drop them because their believability isn't where I think it should be. Like, look at when Hammer switched up when he went to Death Row and he was doing Pumps in a Bump and It's All Good. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no believability. However,
I think for me, when I say that, I think it's because, so maybe it's just the parents in me. I feel like you're insulting. You're playing a game with. You think we're a toy when you pretend to be what you're not when it comes to us. So maybe that's why I look at it like that. Maybe for me, it's not even about the song. It's not even about the music. It's about quit fucking playing in our face. So maybe that's why I feel like that way about it. So maybe it has nothing to do with the music for me. For me, it's probably just quit playing in my face. So somebody don't punch you in yours. Maybe that's what it is for me, because I will stop. I am going to stop following if you start doing shit that's out of character when it comes to that. So.
All right, so I've gotten a request to sing the song Sandy, from Grease, because it was one of my favorite songs. Stranded at the drive-in, branded a fool. What will they say Monday at school? Grease was my shit. That was my shit. Sandy, baby, I'm in misery. Sing it, John Travolta. Made a start, now we're apart. There's nothing left for me. Love has flown all alone. I sit and wonder why you left me, oh Sandy. All right. But yeah, so I guess when it all comes down to it, we pick and choose, whether believability is warranted or whether believability and street cred or whatever is relevant or important or not. I would say for me, for the most part, I would probably err on the side of no, it's not as important. However, I do want you to feel the songs that you're singing because it's going to come out better. You know what I mean? Like you take MC Hammer and the Pumps and the Bump shit and It's All Good thing. I wasn't feeling it. It wasn't him. I didn't like him anyway. But at least with the songs that he made before, those were him. He sold it better. You could tell that was his shit. That was him. Trying to, taking off your Hammer pants and now you got your pants hanging down and, You know what I'm saying? All of this. You was making songs that that grandmothers would listen to. Rap. You was making rap songs that grandmothers would go out and buy. And then all of a sudden you pumps in a bump. That shit sound dumb. Yeah. But
did it do well?
I mean, to some people, I guess they bought it, but it definitely signaled the end of his career.
So that seemed like that fit for him. It did well. It seemed like it fit into his music. Like, I mean,
it definitely signaled that it signaled the end of his. It signaled the end of his career. It was a wrap after that. It was over.
I thought the financial stuff was the end, but okay.
Well, that was symbolic of the financial. You think he went over the death row because he was doing well at Capitol still? That's not how it happened. It was over. You know, the writing was on the wall. But that's another thing. So because back then we didn't have the tools to know what was going on in the background. And we didn't give a fuck. We didn't. Now we're conditioned to give a fuck. We didn't know how much an artist was making. If you ask me any artist,
he said that wasn't who he was.
Exactly. You understand what? But if you ask me any artist with their net worth now, I can look it up and I can have it for you in 30 seconds.
But I think
we couldn't do that in.
I'm not saying all of them, but I think enough of them do shit because they want us in their business. They want to be seen. I'm not saying all, but I think some of them do.
Okay.
Like, I think
with that,
they want us to know.
All right, and I agree. I know that a lot of it is scripted, but that plays right into what we're talking about. Does street cred and believability matter? You know.
No.
I remember I had a whole argument with this chick one time when Meek Mill and
surprise.
Yeah, well, listen, I only argue about shit that's really real. So this chick who was older than me, significantly older, I might add, because I was in my 40s and she was like 50. So I'm 45 and she 50. So, you know, to me, she my elder. 5
years.
Real 5 years is a lot. When at 45, I ain't 50 yet. And wasn't thinking like 50. I was thinking more like 40. So she was so much into social media. There was a picture of Meek Mill and Nicki Minaj when they was together. And she gave this whole story about their relationship based on that fucking picture. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Why does she even care? What?
You know what? I'm glad you asked that. So you was just laughing about the whole 5-year difference, right? But now you see how I'm looking at her like, the fuck is wrong with you? You a whole 50. And the caption on the picture was Nicki, because they caught Meek Mill like this, like with his hands between his legs. They said Meek Mill, Nicki got Meek Mill out here tamed. Look, he was a gangster before, and now blah 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 blah. And this chick was eating that shit up. Like, yeah, you can see it and blah blah blah. I was like, this ain't a video, this a fucking picture. That motherfucker might have been reaching for something. You know what I mean? Like, it was a still picture. But she had a whole story out of that shit. And I was like, you honestly believe that? And she was like, yeah, she stood on it.
Yeah, I don't.
Now, needless to say, I had no respect. But if a 50-year-old woman is stuck in that kind of thinking, what do you think a 25 or a 15-year-old is doing?
Of course. Of course. You know, my friend and I just had this discussion earlier in the week because we just keep seeing this stuff come across our threads about Megan Thee Stallion cooking Thanksgiving dinner for her man and his family. And we are so sick of seeing it. And I said, she needs to stick to just doing her music and having a decent relationship versus she's always got her camera out. I said, she wants us to see this, what I think now is a facade. I don't think she really likes this guy like that. I think it's just all for show. So I don't think it's going to last. That's my personal opinion. I don't care. But that's what I think because she's always got her camera out showing every little moment and he looks uncomfortable. It may not be the life he wants to live. But I think she's always doing that to put everybody in her business. And she thinks this is going to increase her viewership. And I think it's going to damage her, just like the stuff with Tory Lanez. I think it's going to have a drawback to it. So it's not, I do agree. Some of them do this so they can be seen because they get paid from it. Hey, she can make money for social media if she keeps putting out a bunch of stuff on social media, good, bad, or indifferent.
It's not even their idea. They don't come up with those ideas. Their record they pay people for this shit.
Yeah, but I believe some of them do it too.
They didn't think of it. They didn't think of it themselves because if they did, they wouldn't need the label, and they were on the label. The label the label pays for this shit. It's just like when a McDonald's or another fast food restaurant goes up, their actuaries, they already know how much they're gonna get paid.
They don't need the labels to make money on social media at all.
Look, we're not doing this. But my point is, the labels were pushing the narrative of putting things out on social media and all that. The artists did not do that. I'm talking about when social media really started to benefit the artists. The labels were the ones pushing that. The artists, they busy, writing their songs, going on tour and all of that kind of stuff. They don't even handle that part. They don't handle that. They wasn't in charge of their own accounts and all of that kind of shit. The life of an artist, you busy as fuck. Especially if you popping. You ain't got time to be on social media chopping it up with no fans. You know what I'm saying? You might find a couple of minutes on it here and there, but they have people who control their accounts. You got people who ain't even large like that, who don't control their social media accounts. But they hire people to do it, experts. You've done it.
I know, because I handle some of their accounts.
Exactly. It's
not always tied. The artists have the artists have a lot to do with it too. They add some direction to it. Now we may handle the part of talking to the fans, of course, and all of that, but they handle the direction of, hey, I want you make sure this comes out today at this time. They leak some of their own information. And then they try to act like they didn't know it was leaked. They leaked some of it. So they're trying to build their own street cred for people to be into. And some of it's not true. Like, we know this popular story going around now. There's so much to it. And it's like, this bitch is lying. This bitch is lying for real. But, of course, I can't say nothing because I put somebody in my circle in trouble for talking too much. But this bitch is clearly lying to the world. But it's a story that everybody's talking about. It's going around. It's spreading. It's all this conversation and chatter around it. But I know the artist is lying. But it looks good for their brand. It sells their brand. So that's why I say some of them, as much as they want to complain, they want us in their business. They want us in the business they want us in.
Right.
The business they want us to see.
Yeah.
Not the true stuff, because if they knew the true story, everybody would probably be like, bitch, don't you ever tell us nothing else.
Well, it's not. It's I
He
wouldn't say the
created a
truth. They
narrative.
don't. They want the good stories out there. And even
Oh,
the
no,
salacious.
some I want some negative stories too, because the negative gets the most traction on social media.
I'm talking about the salacious stories, the personal stories that aren't necessarily tied to them, getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, they'll put some nasty shit out there. As long as it ain't really something that they have to be accountable for. You know what I mean? Other than that, they just trying to, they put some shit out there knowing it ain't true.
Kim Kardashian and that tape that she didn't know was leaked, but they say her mama had played a part in. Ray J's one told it.
I never knew that she said that it wasn't. She was a nobody when that tape came out. Ray J was the star of that show.
No, he said that mama put that in.
That dry ass twat. You know what I mean? That was like, damn. They need some lube. She. I was like, whoa. Ray J was definitely the star of that show. I was like, who the fuck was Kim Kardashian at the time? What a way to blow up. Like, Mom, how did you become a star? Well, but anyway, that was definitely an amateur video. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was definitely an amateur video. Well, it was professional video because they did get paid, but you know what I mean. But yeah. The thing is, with social media, with mass media nowadays, we feel like we know the president intimately. Now he's played a major part in that, but we also felt like we knew Obama. We felt like we knew Joe Biden. You know what I mean? Their privacy and their personal lives were very compromised. Now, of course, they are the most public of public figures because even their health information and all of that is supposed to be public. Not Donald Trump's, but everybody else, every other president. You know what I mean? But yeah, but he played a big part in this social media and mass media thing because he's the first. He's the first.
Played. You mean he played?
Say that again.
He played.
Man, I ain't hear nothing you say. Your shit is breaking up crazy. Somebody don't want what you saying to be said.
I don't doubt it. I feel like this.
Look. Now you clear as shit. This is a bullshit. That's crazy.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't mute you. They censored that shit. Like,
My dad told me stop saying so much because I put up a post on my Facebook probably 2 years ago or a year or so ago, whatever it was, and I recently got a message about a post I put about him on my social
media. Hold on. Let me address something in the chat. Jasmine is going back and forth with me about Eazy-E. Eazy-E was a drug dealer in Compton. For real. He was not a rapper. Dre was already an artist. He was already out or whatever, doing his thing with the world-class Wrecking Crew and other shit like that. And MC Ren was a rapper. Now Ren might have been in the hood or whatever, but Ice Cube was a student. You know what I mean? That don't mean he don't. Just because you're not just because you're not a gangster straight up and down doesn't mean that you don't know anything about it or don't have some kind of ties to it. But Eazy-E was he was the real deal. And that's why he had money. And that's why Dre went to him. Like, Dre said he was the only one I knew that had a 64. And he had it because he was selling drugs. I mean, he was a smart businessman on top of that. He wasn't the dumbest, he wasn't just some dumb hood nigga who knew how to sell drugs only. He understood how some shit worked and he found it, he figured it out. I mean, after all, he was a Virgo. But anyway, but yeah. Yeah, it's a real deal. What up, Emily? What's good? What's good? So, anyway, um, yeah, yeah, this whole thing. Now, this is actually very revealing because it's like we sort of pick and choose. There are some artists that even I would be disappointed to find out that they ain't maybe what I thought they were, or who I thought they were. Like this is an example for me. Public Enemy was my favorite rap group. They probably my favorite rap group of all time. Public Enemy and probably NWA. Probably. You know what I mean? 1 and 2. Probably. You know what I mean? We start naming other groups. I'd be like, I kind of dug them too. Oh, Wu-Tang, yeah, maybe they 2, or maybe they 3. I don't know. But Public Enemy was definitely my group because of all the pro-black shit and the stuff that they were talking about at the time. So, knowing that and finding out and knowing that Flav was, all coked up all the time and all of that, I was very disappointed. You know what I'm saying? I was very disappointed because I'm like, here y'all are rapping against that, like wholeheartedly. Y'all talking about uplifting the communities and communism and taking raging against the machine pretty much and rebelling and learning our history and loving ourselves and the black man is God and follow with Farrakhan and stuff like that and this dude, even though he didn't fit, a lot of things he was doing wasn't fitting with the whole clocking and blah blah blah. But the fact of the matter was he was all coked up all the time, and that was a letdown for me. Like, damn, how did Professor Griff get kicked out and Flav got to stay? Well, Flavor Flav was the greatest hype man that hip hop has ever seen, in my opinion. But that did take away a lot of the believability aspect of it. When I had to accept that Public Enemy is a group, it's a musical group, dog. I mean, maybe they believe in a lot of the principles that they're talking about, but evidently they don't believe in all of them. They had a song called Night of the Living Bassheads, and they got a bass head right there in the group.
Well,
singing a song. Bass, 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 bass. You know what I'm saying? So, but my consolation was that I was young. I was only 17. How would I know? You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, hip hop definitely brought in the believability aspect and the expectations of the authenticity thing. They introduced it, and then when social media came along, it stamped it for everybody else. Because you were saying this, you were talking about this earlier, Kim, when you first came on, about how we only really expect this for hip hop and R&B, but no, them rock stars go through the same shit. They deal with the same shit. You should see some of their social media accounts. They definitely nobody getting out of this shit nowadays. I probably country artists are going through it too, because social media doesn't skip over anybody anymore. Mass media doesn't miss anybody anymore. Nobody gets to leave a private or secret life anymore. That don't sell. Only your secret sells. So we selling them. But it ain't gonna be nothing too private in your life anymore. Not if it carries a price tag. It's coming out. You gonna learn to be humble. What's up, Marvina? How you feeling, ma? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, damn, Jasmine, you said it was the X-Clan for you? I ain't even like them. I mean, I tolerated them, but I ain't like them. Got to make better records than me. I couldn't stand a hype man either. You know what I mean? With the key, sissies. I was like, this shit whack. But so it's all good, man. To each his own. Yeah, the social media thing has it never ceases to amaze me how much social media impacts our lives now, and it saddens me a little bit that there ain't no turning back. We will never be able to go back to what it was before. There will be no anonymity anymore. Not with artistry. It's a wrap. So the expectations of these artists are going to become more and more. That's what we're working with. You know what I mean? So we better get comfortable because we ain't going back. We ain't going back to cassette tapes, reel to reel. You know what I mean? You can buy some vinyl, but no. You know, motherfuckers ain't gonna be buying mad turntables this Christmas and no shit like that. It's over. It's over. We have to accept life the way that it really is now. But this is what's selling. But the generation that grew up in this shit, their expectations are just going, you know what? I almost forgot this story. My baby brother was real good at rapping. He was doing his thing. We was all doing it. Me and all my brothers have gone through the hip hop stage where we was serious about trying to get this shit popping. And my baby brother was the first one out of all of us. He really felt like he needed to sell drugs in order to make music. Because he honestly, wholeheartedly, 100% felt like he couldn't be talking all of that gangster shit and all of that if he wasn't living those lyrics. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he looked me dead in my face like you don't understand. But he felt like I'm in these streets. I know what's selling. I'm like, well, I'm in this studio. And guess what? It's the bitches buying these songs, not them niggas. The barbershop might be talking about the songs, but they ain't got the album. Your girl do. Ages 17 to 29.
That kind of realness has real consequences.
He didn't give a fuck at the time. Because that was that was real to him. That was real. And he wasn't the only one. Him and all of his boys and people of that generation at that time. That's how they felt. Now he's
storytellers and telling a story.
Hey, you don't know until you know. Now, you know, he stopped rapping.
I think some of these new ones believe that they have to live the life that they're talking about. I do believe that. And then there are some old ones who forgot they live the life that they're talking about, but they could easily leave that life because now they don't have to. But for some reason, they were still drawn back into it. I won't say names, but we know who it is.
Well, this was around 2001. So imagine what it's like 24 years later.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's where drill rap comes from now.
Well, no, because he wasn't talking about killing nobody, but...
No, what I'm saying is that drill rap is people doing what they're doing and then self-snitching and they living the life of what they're doing and then putting it out there in the atmosphere through rap music.
It's a little, but you're on the right track. And I know what you're saying.
I'm not saying with your brother or the things that was going back then. I'm saying drill rap is somewhat similar to, you know, people who live in the life of what they're doing and then putting it out in music. You know what I mean? And and that's the thing about it. It's not even so much of doing drugs or sometimes it's territorial. You know, sometimes it's, you know, you kill my boy, I'm gonna kill your boy, and then I'm gonna put out there on how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's the part of drill rap that I think we hate the most of. You know, is their realness and then able to express it to other in their music that you know is real. Because when you put the music out there, it makes the people that you did it to want to come after you other people.
Real consequences.
You know, so I mean, I do believe that street cred. I don't think. I mean, some parts of street cred and R&B is there, but I'm talking about like rap music. When you listen to rap music, you want to believe there's some street cred within the individual that's rapping.
Not me.
You know, you want to if they're speaking on it, you want to say, "Damn, they must be living that." You know what I mean? But
I would hope not.
It's not that I want them to be doing it, but if they speaking on it, to bring relevance to let people know this is what I'm doing. I don't want y'all. I don't telling people like Jay-Z had a rap. What did he say to him when he said?
It's the thing to do.
Well, they're glamorized, and
Yeah.
you know,
So
like you got. I mean, it's like this, right? And it fucks me up because when I hear it, the street cred that they want is not the street cred you want to get. Like when my daughters was listening to King Von, and I was like, when I first heard Crazy Story, I was like, is it me or is this nigga snitching on himself?
Listen.
And then any other song, I heard this one song, right? And when I seen the video, it made me even fucked up even more because the boy was laughing in the video when he was saying what he was saying. And I knew that he was telling the truth behind what he was saying. Because when he said, dead ops, he said, dead ops, all my bodies get headshots. And when he's saying he rolling up a blunt, and he's laughing in the video, and I'm like, why the fuck are you laughing? That's some serious shit you're saying, bro.
Well,
and then comes on behind of me seeing his documentary. This motherfucker was a serial killer.
Well,
he's going around killing people.
It looks like that our generation might have birthed that.
Some parts of it did.
We did. You know, and like, you know, and I'm just talking about the expectations. The expectations have turned into the reality that we all, you know, took for granted as artistry. But I ain't even want to get into the whole drill thing because
I was just elaborating because when you brought up your brother and the realness of what he wanted to be real. He wanted to write rhymes real, but he wanted to live the life of being that part.
He wanted to give his rhymes authenticity.
Right.
That's what he wanted to do. He thought it was important that if anybody asked him what what he was about, him and his crew and how they moving and all of that, he wanted to be able to say, yeah, you know what I mean? I write about the shit that I'm really doing out here. You know what I mean? I'm getting paid. I'm making moves. I'm doing what I do. He wasn't trying to be killing nobody or whatever. But in selling drugs, don't you kind of have to be prepared to do that one day?
Yeah.
Kind of goes with the territory.
But especially if that money is,
hey,
you better get your pole ready.
Shit, I
mean, if your pockets is fat, you better get that pole ready.
So yeah, it's hey.
You know, but the street cred part, I think the street cred part always go towards rap music. You know, R&B music is not so much a street cred. You know, like if I hear some shit that somebody say through an interview, like when I hear when I hear Tank do his music, right? And then Tank say, well, just because you get two blowjobs from a man don't make you gay. Then I'm like, what the fuck did he just say?
All righty. Well,
I'm just saying. And then when I hear R. Kelly saying I was railroaded, but then you got a song called Seems Like You Ready. And then you go the whole album for a 14, 15-year-old girl that says age ain't nothing but a number. And then you married the girl.
hey, he made an honest woman out of her.
You the idiot.
You ain't see Dame Dash making an honest woman out of her.
Couldn't. She was too much rocking the boat, and when the one way home passed away.
He had his
The
chance.
thing about it is that, you know, like I said, I think that artists pick songs. I don't say the whole album is about their life. I say they pick certain songs that's relevant to what they are, relevant of what they're going through. Like that fucking Breakthrough album was very after the My Life album. And then she took some time off. And then she came out with that Breakthrough album. She had another album. And then she came out with the Breakthrough album. But she had this song, I've been going for too long to want to say I never want to be without you. When she remarried the boy, when she married the boy and everything. And
No. After the Mary album after the My Life album was the Mary album.
Yeah, but then she had the Breakthrough.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But I'm just saying, in succession, you know, it was it was the 411.
She had the Mary album, and then she had the Breakthrough.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
And
I think in response to this particular show, with the question at hand, like you said, it's not about what the artist sang or didn't sing. It's what our expectation is as the audience and the public.
Well,
she's a perfect example. There were a lot of people who expected her to have the down and out sad songs. They felt like she put out better music when she was going through something. So I do believe there is expectation. Maybe not with our artists, but
you absolutely right, Joe.
But a lot of people did expect her. They wanted that sad, beaten down, broke down Mary. That's when they wanted music.
You damn right.
Better music, but I also agree that it's because she was younger and dealing with things at a different level. And as she grew and matured and stepped into being an adult grown woman, of course her songs are going to be different. You know, her last album.
I need her to get a young boy. I need her to get a YN now.
No, she doesn't.
I want her to get a YN now. I need another day in my life.
For her age and her life.
I need a new My Life. I need a My Life.
I don't need that. I don't, because she's too grown to be singing about that kind of shit. That's like if Beyonce comes out with a song sounding like she's singing like Summer Walker. What are you talking about? Even Nicki Minaj. People like, bitch, you're too old to be singing about the same shit somebody young is out here singing about. Why do you give a fuck what this young girl is singing about? Shut up.
Only thing I'm saying right now is that all I really want is to be happy.
All right, all I want to do is to do the birthday shout outs and be out.
No, we not.
Oh yes, the fuck we are. What we gonna do is we gonna do these. We gonna do these. We about to do the. Let's do the results of the poll. Do we place too high of expectations on our music artists of today? 33% said yes. We expect them to be real. 22% said not enough. They are public figures, and another 33% says just give me good music, and 11% says I only care about my life.
In the sunshine.
So
You fucking right. See, Charles, you the one that sparked that one. You damn right. I want her to get back with KC.
oh well.
So everybody, you guys have a good rest of your evening, your morning, afternoon. Be safe. Take care.
Good looking out. I want to thank y'all for coming through and making the show great as usual.
Blessings to Kills. Blessings to you, son. You know, I shut it down a minute because I didn't want to go deep into an argument with you. But I'm going to argue with you off the damn line. I want to curse you out about the shit we was talking about tonight.
I mean, it ain't gonna change.
I do the birthday shout out.
We stuck to the premise of the show. You just did what you wanted to do, but that ain't nothing new.
What?
That ain't nothing new. All right, but thanks for coming through, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'll holler at y'all later. All right.
Peace.
We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious December 5th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Ronald Stokes. Happy birthday. And also Lady Bird Humble, Anthony Lemack Henry, Deonka Reed, Angelia Meadows, Shauna Dennis, Tiffany Godfrey, Adriana Slade, Nicole Smith, Victoria Brown, Brown, very good supporter of the show. And also, last but not least, Damone Dejanette. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all, and I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious December 5th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, listen. Social media has changed the world that we live in. And that's whether you participate in it or you just play the background or just watch the whole parade from the sidelines. This is the way our world is. So because we have what we consider to be so much access to our artists, so now, you know, instead of just reading the words that may have come in with the album or reading the magazine with an interview with your favorite artist or whatever, now you feel like you can reach out and touch them. But, you know, with accessibility comes expectations. Do we really expect these artists to be who, or should I say, do we expect these artists to be the image that they may have been portraying on the albums? And is that expectation of the imagery to be authentic, is that causing more artists to dumb it down creatively? We didn't really talk about that, but, you know, I think it's something we may need to think about and maybe touch on at another time. Are our expectations of authenticity of these artists causing the artists to have to recalibrate their creativity to not compromise their bottom line because they can't live up to the hype they may have been portraying to us. It's all about selling records, man. You got to move them units. And what they do in order to be able to move the units and to sell the records and to push their financial agenda forward might involve a whole lot of things that may turn many of us on and may turn many of us core fans off. But that's something that we're going to have to deal with. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow afternoon, 1:30 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon, 1:30 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon, 1:30 p.m. I'll see y'all now. I'll see y'all then. So get a little rest. You know what I mean? Get up, get dressed, get washed. Well, no, don't do it in that order. Get up, get washed, get dressed. Take care of your business. Let's get on the line and talk about some real shit on the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. Y'all have a good night. And if you didn't have a good day, I wish you one coming up real soon. Señorita Ramirez, I see you. Thank you, all of y'all, for coming through. I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. This show needs it because them numbers was... I holla. Peace.